Hey everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about a Nintendo 3DS that is not connecting to Wi-Fi. I'll be going over some of the easiest fixes in this simplistic tutorial, so let's get right into the video. I'll be going over 6 things that you can try to hopefully get your 3DS to connect to Wi-Fi. Now let's clear this up at the beginning of the video. This is my new Nintendo 2DS XL. It's not a 3DS, but it's part of the same family of consoles, so really it deals with the same things with regards to how to fix a problem like that. I did have an issue with my new Nintendo 3DS, my new Nintendo 2DS XL not connecting to Wi-Fi, but I solved it, and I'll tell you which of these options worked for me as I go through each of them. Number one, the first thing that you gotta try is get closer to the router. Now, your router has a certain signal strength, and that depletes the further away that you get from the router. So I feel like I'm like some master over here just guiding everything. Anyways, so if you're far from the router, your signal might be too weak. In addition, every device is going to have a Wi-Fi antenna in it that is going to pick up that signal. Different devices have different strengths of antennas. Now, luckily, the 3DS family of consoles, the 2DS, the 3DS, the new 2DS XL, the new 3DS XL, blah, 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 they all have a pretty strong Wi-Fi antenna, so that's really good. But your router might not be able to send a signal that far. So get closer to the router, see if it works. If that doesn't help, move to number 2, which is make sure the network settings are correct. So you want to go into your 3DS user interface, into your internet settings, your Wi-Fi settings, your network settings, and make sure that they're correct. Make sure the network name and all of the settings are set up properly, okay? Look into that. Also consider, is there something, sorry about that. There we go, that's better. Is there something within your Wi-Fi network that is preventing your console from connecting to it? Maybe you have a firewall, maybe you have a security measure that's preventing this console from connecting to it. So look into that as well. That's something to consider. But look at the network settings on your system, on your console, and also within your internet itself, okay? The third thing, try to disconnect from Wi-Fi, from your Wi-Fi network and connect again. I'm literally reading my notes here. That's why I missed the word there. It says try to disconnect from Wi-Fi network and connect again. It should be try to disconnect from your Wi-Fi network and connect it again. That's what worked for me. My new Nintendo 2DS XL was connected to Wi-Fi, and then one day it just wasn't working. I couldn't figure out why. I tried everything that I knew how to do. It just wouldn't connect. So essentially what I did was I disconnected it and I connected it again, and voila, it worked fine. So it's worth it to try. I know it seems redundant to disconnect it and connect it again, but it worked for me, so it might work for you. Definitely worth giving it a shot because it might just very well work. Okay, like I said, that was the solution for myself. If that doesn't work, move on to number 4, which is to unplug your router and modem and then plug them back in after 1 minute of being unplugged. Sometimes your internet just needs to be reset or restarted. If it's the internet that's causing the issue, unplug the router and modem for a minute and plug them back in. This is especially true if your phone or any other device is experiencing connectivity issues. You should definitely consider doing that. That brings me to number 5, which is turn off the Nintendo 3DS console and power it back on again, okay? So essentially, when you turn it off and turn it back on again, you're restarting it. There might just be a glitch or a malfunction or an error with the internet settings or the Wi-Fi settings or the network settings, within the console, and if that's the case, powering it off and powering it back on again will hopefully solve that problem, clear out that glitch. You might even need to look into updating the software, the firmware within the console itself. Maybe that's part of the issue. That's rarely going to be the case. It's more going to be the case if you just recently updated your software or firmware and then you have internet connectivity issues. Maybe the update caused that and you have to reconnect to the network again. But it's unlikely to be the cause that if you were connected to the internet and they release a software update and then you don't have the latest version, your connectivity will fail. That's not as likely to be the cause, but look into it because you want to narrow it down, right? Think about, did you recently update any software on the device? And if your internet dropped after that, if your Wi-Fi didn't work after that, that's definitely something to consider. Maybe you want to try and revert back if possible, okay? So turn off the console, turn it back on, look into any software or firmware updates, hardware updates that happened. Lastly is number 6, which is just give it a few minutes. Honestly, sometimes my Wi-Fi goes down for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and then just comes back on randomly, no matter what I try unplugging, plugging back in, looking into the settings, it just goes down and it comes back. It could be a neighborhood thing, could be a wiring thing outside of your home with regards to the main unit that goes and distributes the internet throughout the neighborhood. Give it a few minutes, give it 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and try again. Sometimes technology just needs time to catch up. Like literally just needs time to sort itself out, or have someone outside, professional outside of your home sort it out in the neighborhood. Yeah, and like I said, that would mean that you likely would have connectivity issues with all of your devices if it's more of a Wi-Fi thing. But maybe your console just needs a few minutes to figure out how to get that connection. So even just give it some time with regards to your console. Maybe your console just needs to sort something out within it. So that's basically it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.